Hi, I'm Pete May, the president and co-founder of GreenBiz Group. We're here at GreenBiz Studio. I have the pleasure to be with Jim Gowen, VP of Global Supply Chain and Chief Sustainability Officer. My God, Jim, that is a long title, but from Verizon. Great to have you. Great to have you here with us today, Jim.
Pete, thanks for having me, and it's always great to be with the GreenBiz family.
Yeah. Great. So you've had this role. It sounds like some evolved form of this role since 2009. I'm also interested for a big company. That's two big buckets: supply chain on the one hand, it's usually one gigantic job, and then sustainability on the other. It's one gigantic job. Tell us a little bit about how you think your job lays out in the kind of among sustainability roles in corporations, and some of the things that you've learned along the way that you can share with our audience.
Sure. So, in 2009, I was running our global supply chain and got the opportunity to also become Verizon's first chief sustainability officer. And it was a little overwhelming at the time. I grew up in the company, and I'm an operations guy through and through. And I've been with the company. I've known no other. But what really is amazing is I quickly realized that when you're at the time managing the fleet of over 40,000 vehicles, when you're talking about transporting packages around the world, whether it's on air or sea or on truck or on rail, as well as all the cardboard and material that goes into your products. I had the biggest opportunity to make a difference. And our CEO at the time saw that and put it into the supply chain organization. And then the last 10 years has just been nothing but an awesome journey of combining how we do things every day from an operations perspective into what we're referring to now as creating and establishing and maintaining a sustainable supply chain.
So then, Jim, March of this year comes, everybody's world is turned upside down. Tell us about how that has changed your dual roles in supply chain and sustainability.
So when COVID hit in March, and again in March it hit here in the United States, but we were tracking this from really January on as we saw it starting in Asia and then making its way around the world. It's changed everything we've done, everything we do on a daily basis. What hasn't changed at all has been our focus on running our wireless and wireline networks and providing services just like we can communicate here today to enable people to virtually work, virtually communicate with family and friends, run businesses. But at the same time, from a personal perspective, on the global supply chain perspective, we had to start thinking about PPE and the safety of our over 40,000 employees that were out there every day. So although over 100,000 Verizon employees were able to work from home, many of our operations people had to be out there every day. Well, my team was responsible for making sure they had the appropriate PPE, to making sure they had all of the goods and materials that were actually being challenged all around the world with the shutdowns, so that we would continue and maintain our networks on a daily basis, really supporting first responders, whether they be hospital workers, our 911 platform here in the United States, all the way through anyone and everyone who is out there fighting this pandemic every day. So it's been an exciting 9 months. And it's also been a very challenging 9 months. I'm very proud of how Verizon's responded.
Wow. Well, let's talk about from one gigantic challenge to the other challenge being climate change. It was interesting. We have a common partner, that's Amazon. They came out this year with their Amazon Climate Pledge. Verizon was one of the first signatories of that, one of the biggest companies to partner with them. Talk to us about why you made that commitment, and what, in a meaningful sense, what is that going to make, and how does your life and the sustainability for Verizon change with this commitment?
So when we talk about sustainability, it's not a competitive sport. We're a big fan of collaboration. So when Amazon reached out and talked about the climate pledge, it didn't take me any bit of time, as well as everyone at Verizon, to say, yes, we're in. They are incredibly forward thinking. We applaud what Amazon's done. We applaud the climate pledge. We were one of the first signers of it, and now we're an advocate to bring more people into that pledge. Now, does it change who we are or what we're going to do? No, we have a goal by 2035 of being carbon neutral on our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions. This just doubles down on that. We're just continuing our drumbeat of focusing on how we can make ourselves better and better. Climate Pledge is just another way that we can, outwardly demonstrate that we're doing that, and also partner and collaborate with like-minded companies who are going to come up with solutions. I plan on learning a lot from the entire Amazon team and everyone part of the Climate Pledge.
Yeah, well, one of the, speaking of solutions, one of the challenges making commitments is how do you finance them? And I noticed you recently issued your second $1 billion green bond, and we're seeing in our space increasing focus on ESG and the melding of finance and sustainability. Talk to us a little bit about what the significance of that green bond is for you.
It's truly been an amazing journey, what we've been doing here at Verizon. But I'd have to back up 1 second and just say the last 24 to 36 months with our new Chief Technology Officer, now Chairman and Chief Executive, Hans Vestberg, as he's come on, he's changed the whole way we've thought about sustainability, and we've thought about what we're doing on a day in, day out basis. And he's challenged us to think differently and think bigger. That's where our carbon neutral by 2035 goal came from. And then we started thinking about, okay, how do you finance this? How do you go bigger? The first green bond was February of 2019, a little bit of a sleepless night the night before, but when we issued it, the response was overwhelming. One of the most successful and oversold bonds in Verizon history. And it took us a little more than 16 months to spend $1 billion. And went really well. Heavy focus on renewable energy and buying into long-term purchase power agreements, the whole time being transparent with a very strong use of proceeds document, also auditable by our third-party auditors. Fast forward to just a little over a month ago, and we're issuing our second one for another $1 billion. So my biggest challenge now with the green bonds is how do I keep the Verizon internal folks from asking for more money? That's the biggest challenge.
Right. Wow. Well, it's such a great conversation. We could go on for another hour on so many things to ask you. And Verizon is as a company that has such massive scale. It's so important the work you're doing. But it's been great chatting with you, Jim Gowen. Let's see if I get your whole title right. Vice President, Global Supply Chain and Chief Sustainability Officer for Verizon. Thanks for joining us on GreenBiz Studio today.
Pete, thanks for having me, and keep up the great work at GreenBiz.